Hi, today is April 13th, 2025, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 569 for the year, number 107. Yesterday I wrote about how the side of the UN building doesn't really look like number 107 by Ad Rheinhardt, but today I am thinking about how number 107 by Ad Rheinhardt doesn't look at all like the side of the UN building. In fact, I'd have to say that number 107 looks a lot less like the side of the UN building than the side of the UN building looks like number 107. I may not be exactly sure what I mean by this, but I really mean it. Poem number 570, Old Flame. He was so singularly uninspiring that she could not believe that she was going to see him again, and yet she was going to see him again. Poem number 571, What Moved Them. He believed that his talk moved people because after he was finished, the people seemed to have shifted as though they were in different locations. He had, of course, blinked multiple times over the course of his talk, so it was possible that the people had moved during the nanoseconds in which his eyes had been closed, but he preferred to believe that it was his words that had moved them. Poem number 572, A Violent Episode in Theory. After the one guy spoke, the other guy responded, and the one guy started to respond to the other guy, but then the other guy was like, no, you are not allowed to respond. So the one guy felt cut off. He felt castrated. He felt so castrated that when he looked down, he saw a vision of his dick lying there lifeless on the ground. And although the dick was non-corporeal and without substance and void, the one guy picked up the severed phallus and angrily shoved it into the other guy's mouth. Not in a gay way. There was nothing gay about the way this all went down. It was kind of the opposite of gay, and yet not 100% straight either. But remember, the severed phallus was not a real phallus, so there was no real violence, at least not this time. Poem number 573, Psychic. She thought he must be psychic, the way he seemed to know what to do or what to say in every situation. But then he did that one thing that seemed so dumb, and then he followed it up by saying that one thing that sounded so stupid. And after that, she thought, I guess he isn't psychic after all, which is exactly what he knew she would think when he did and said those things. Poem number 574, Living a Lie. He found a lie that looked appealing and told himself, this is the lie that I will live, and he spent most of his days from that day forward living the lie. He was surprised at how comfortable he was after everything he had heard and read about the discomfort that comes from living a lie. He felt nothing unpleasant or untoward. He experienced no feelings of uneasiness. He lived the lie like it was the truth, and eventually he believed the lie that he was living, which made it even easier. I hope that it won't disappoint you to learn that nothing particularly bad ever happened to this guy. He lived happily ever after, living a lie. And the last poem of the day, poem number 575, The Walls. When the walls started closing in on her, she was relieved. She had thought for a long time that the walls were too far away. And as the walls got closer and closer, she felt more and more protected. And when they finally reached her, the walls turned out to be soft, porous, and pliable. And rather than crushing her, they hugged her and embraced her in a warm, protective encasement. And she stayed inside the cocoon until the metamorphosis, and then she spread her glorious wings and flew. All right, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you.